Hey everybody, I am here with Clark and Becky. Becky is the author of The Gifts Emotions Give Us, and we're just doing just a ad hoc walkthrough of the book and talking through a few things. So we thought we'd share it with everybody in the group. So thanks for checking this out, and let's get moving. I guess you're leading, one of you two, with the questions. The first question you just said, Clark, before I started recording was this genre, or what was the question? Is this
So we basically we're going through the steps. I forget the name of the site, but it's basically through the KDP, and they give you a series of steps and different things. But we just wanted to make sure that as we're going through it, we're not filling anything out incorrectly. Maybe we've got our description ready, maybe like a first draft of the book and the author bio. But as we go through, the main thing we want to make sure is we're not making some mistakes, that would be detrimental to the book's success. So that's first and foremost. And then the other thing is, if we set we've seen you do it time and time again with your clients, to where you set up a book to pre-launch and then it gets sold, basically, I don't know if sold out is the word, but basically sold and bestseller before it even launches. So that's kind of what we want to go for. But we're pretty sure if we do this ourselves, not going to get it right. So
yeah, we're kind of brand new to this, and never have published anything through Amazon before.
What's the status now in KDP? Can you bring up your KDP and share it? I mean, it's just in draft status, basically.
Yeah.
And first of all, while you're doing that, I love pre-order because you can get a lot of the stress out of the way before the book even comes out. So as long as you what's the state of the actual manuscript itself? Is it edited and ready to go?
Yeah, the book is all ready to go.
Okay, and you got the cover done and all that? Yeah, so that makes it easy. Really two ways you can go, and when you get there, Clark, just share the screen, but you can just hit publish and not tell anybody, and there's not too many mistakes you can make because there's 4 million books on Amazon, and no one's going to see it until you tell them to see it, for the most part, unless they just key in your name in the title, and it still may not show up for a few days. So you can go that route. Oh yeah, this is a KDP Jumpstart. Nice. So go to what I want to see is, and you could do it on a separate, just go to the bookshelf there on the top.
Okay. Right there.
All right, and scroll down to your book.
Oh, and I guess our account information is incomplete too. I thought we had finished that, unless I'm not logged in.
Right. It could be if you've got a different email. Is the book down there? I'm seeing like a huge screen. So
we have not started the book. We just didn't want to get anything wrong. So
you can't. Yeah, you can't do much.
We're a little gun shy.
Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Click Kindle ebook.
Kindle ebook.
Unless you want that draft one. Was that kind of the one down below? Scroll down. Why don't you just use that new title 1?
Okay.
Because it'll be there forever, so you might as well just use it. Yeah, continue setup.
Okay. Oops, and that's, I guess, yes.
Go ahead and type your. Oh, maybe that's why.
That's why it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what the way it is.
Throw that in there, the password.
No.
I think it's a common one.
And then the flip side is you can set it up as pre-order, and you can do everything like fixing up your book description to look pretty, make everything nice without people being able to download the book. So really all they can see is that book page. And I don't know if it doesn't, in your case, doesn't 100% matter, but if you want to do the marketing right, get it all tested, it's just easier to do it as a pre-order, especially since you're in a position where you could set it to pre-order. There's no risk of the book not being done because it's already done. So,
Yeah. We're just mainly what we're on pause about is this setting up on Amazon, and then also just preparing our PLC, just launch material.
Ooh, nice. You're going to do a product launch of it.
Mm-hmm. Just
Wonder
telling
where
the
that
story
comes
behind
from.
the meaning behind the book and kind of the mission statement of it, or the whole book series. This is the first book of a whole series of lots of
Great.
books to come afterwards. So,
How many words is the book right now?
I don't have the number of words. It's
Go
more
ahead to
like
the bookshelf.
it's
Sorry.
like a picture book, and there's about 30. I think I remember 35 pages
Very top.
in total. I think.
Okay, good. So that's
Sorry,
perfect for a series.
Yeah.
Or you can't see it, right? Because it's underneath the share or something.
Yeah,
That's
I've
what
got a
happens to me all
camera
the
in front
time.
of my face. Is that it right there?
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Okay. You want me to ditch our camera for a bit and while we go through this?
Oh, I don't know. Why is it so big? That's weird. Is it from a laptop or something?
What, the screen? Oh, because I'm old and I can't see.
Oh,
You want it bigger?
I'm old and I can't see, but it's still too big.
Is it
Okay,
pretty
so
big?
no books there yet, right? So let's do it. Let's just do it right here because this is the count you want to do it from, right?
Okay.
So go ahead. Just hit. This is you can't really go wrong unless you hit publish and you put a bad draft in there.
Okay. So
So
Kindle
that's not
book.
Yep, Kindle ebook. And so you can just you could just be copying and pasting from that stuff you sent me, but the book title.
Okay. Let's jump back. Yeah. Alt tab. Oh, right.
Good. And then scroll down. This you're going to do a series, obviously, but why don't you just leave it blank for now? You can add it.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can do that. Because right now it's not. It's just standalone, so it's not going to affect it either way. That's good.
Okay.
And the edition number, you don't need to put that. That's if this is your second edition of the same book. So then we put Becky in there if we were going to do that.
Oops.
And yeah, if there's other forward or contributors, you can put them in there. Now, here's what I do. I like to get the base thing done and stuff. So you could copy and paste your description. You've got it handy. At some point, we're going to want to probably put some HTML in there. But I would just copy those 3 paragraphs that you sent me.
It's right there.
If you can pull it out of that messenger message.
You got a copy.
But these things like description, I always end up coming back and tweaking them. So it's even when we hit it pre-order, I'm looking at it saying, well, I'd rather have a header or I'd like some bullet points or whatever. So I come back in and put them. I want some HTML in there.
Okay.
What on earth? It lets you stretch that? I've never seen that before. That must
It's
be
because
new.
it's Chrome browser.
I use Chrome.
Not all browsers allow that.
I've never. That's the most annoying thing, that description, and they're letting you stretch it. Holy
Make it as big as you want.
I think that's new. It's got to be, or how could I have missed it? I'm going to go check on one of mine while you're talking. Okay, so go scroll down. You own the copyright. You
Yes.
click that button.
Which
the top radio button there.
Great.
And then keywords. Generally, you're going to do some research for this. So you could just leave them blank for now.
Okay.
We have some, but I don't know that we've thoroughly researched it. So we can
I basically
do that.
went through other books, similar books on Amazon, and just kind of for a large variety of different books found ones that relate. But what I was confused about was the use of keywords versus categories, because when I did search on Amazon, I was kind of the search tools to the left. I was kind of going down and you'll see the ones that I sent to you. I don't know.
Were they in that? Let me see here.
Okay.
Oh, you only have 3, so that's great.
Wow. There's
You could add a couple here if you want. I'm going to show you something in a minute, but let's get past this part. We're going to fix this up. This is one of the things you put it on pre-order. We're going to go ahead and fix these up.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, that was our main thing is once it's in pre-order, we've got a deadline, let's say 2 months out.
The only thing you really can't change is that
all of this
deadline.
stuff.
Yeah, you can change all this except the deadline.
Okay.
And actually now they are letting you change the deadline, but you still probably don't want to do it. But
wow.
They will let you change it once 30 days. You can always move it forward and release sooner. And in fact, my friend Rebecca did that when I was helping her with her book. As soon as she hit bestseller, she's like, okay, I want to release it. And I'm like, well, go ahead. They let you. If you want to push it back, they'll give you 30 days. Otherwise, they flag your account and you can't do it again.
Okay.
For like a year or something. Okay, so let's leave those for now. I'm going to make a note of empathy, friendship, bullying.
Now I'm not so sure, like with
categories. I'm going to show you this. For whatever reason, the categories they give you to choose in here are not the full set. So click on the set categories button, and you're just going to scroll all the way down and say non-classifiable. Just click that one because you're going to submit to them later the ones you want, and that's you can get up to 10. You can only pick 2 here, but you can submit 10 to them, so it's not even worth worrying about it right here.
Okay.
If it's a kid's book and there's certain age ranges, you could put that in here. I don't think it is, right? It's adult.
No,
so I would just leave these the way they are. Oh, it is for children?
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got some age ranges, you could put it in there. Okay. And grade range, I don't think you need that.
Yeah.
Now,
does that maybe help as far as
I think it's gonna limit it a little more.
Okay.
So, but if it is a kid's book, they do want the age ranges there. I mean, you could. Let's leave that for now the way it is.
Okay.
Here's the big thing. You can, if you don't know the pre-order date yet, then you go all the way to the bottom and just hit the left button, save as draft. Right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. And even save and continue does the same thing as long as you don't go to the third page and hit publish. But if you know right now when you want to release it, we can set that. So just click on the Kindle pre-order just to show you what happens. You don't have to do it right now. But all it is setting it by the calendar what day you want it to release.
Perfect.
And then you've got all that time to. So if you were doing it today, if the book's ready to go, you're ready to go. I might say 60 days out. If you want to do it sooner, that's great too. The thing, Clark, you're an advertising expert. There's a lot of little testing you can do on BookBub and then Amazon, and you can kind of get them. You can hit bestseller. If the first goal is bestseller, which it generally is, then give yourself 60 or 90 days. If you got people waiting on the book and excited about it, then maybe it's 30 to 60 days out. And there's various reasons, but almost always you're doing it on a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Great. Let's not set that for now. Let's think about that a little bit more.
Okay.
Think about it. So you could still, that's all right. It's as long as you don't hit publish on the third page, everything is just a draft.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So even now you can hit save and continue. And even if you didn't even pick a date, so it wouldn't have done anything.
Cool.
Now go ahead and hit save and continue. It's going to take you to page 2. Now the next question is, and you can add this later. Actually, it's at the bottom of this page. For paperback, you would put your ISBN in here, but okay, digital rights management. I never have selected yes because it can hose people being able to read your book if they're on the wrong format or on the wrong smartphone or whatever. There can be problems with that. So it's just a way that's, it's very hard for people to grab a copy anyway. Unless you send them a copy. So it's still just distributed by Kindle on all our devices. So I would leave that as no. And then if you got the manuscript, do you have it in Mobi format right now, or
Not yet. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you would upload the manuscript, and then if you've got a cover, do you have a cover made?
Yeah.
We do. Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Is
that
it
was another question I had is we have it in a certain size, certain aspect ratio.
I downloaded templates from Amazon when I was looking through lately. So I have it in the format. It's square.
the Kindle format?
I
Like a
went by the
rectangle, right? So it
templates
should
that
be
they
like
offer in download.
by 2700 or something like that.
Yeah.
So if
I
you've
worked
got
with-
that, why don't you put it in there, because you can change it anyway.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and upload it, and it's nice to have that image sitting there on the book. It starts feeling more real that way.
Okay, so we're just going to find it here.
No, go back.
And any of you watching this video, you're seeing this is not that. This is something you could set up your KDP account. You can set up a draft of your book, and it gives you
Or this one.
a little momentum and confidence that you've got your book
First one, right there.
moving forward. So it's cool.
Okay, I'm going to put this back up. So Ray, we were just sort of off on the other screen for a second. So if you do edit this at all, then you can kind of come back to this. So we've got the image here.
Okay, those are squares.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book, it's a square book, right? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
But Kindle, the cover, you could try it. They preferred a rectangle. Yeah, but basically you could just, recreate that. But put that for now. Let's just see.
Okay.
Because, I mean, that's how the audiobooks look. I know there's some books that they release as squares. And
that's a good point. So like what, a 19 by 6?
It's generally, I think it's 1800 by 2750, I think looks the best.
Okay.
I have to look at some of mine. So that'll take a few seconds to come up. And it's not going to let you go further than this without the manuscript.
Got it.
Go ahead and, okay, so it's there. So go ahead down to the bottom and save as draft again. And then the other thing is, I think you're going to want this. In the very beginning, I didn't do it, but getting an ISBN, you're going to have one for your Kindle, one for your paperback or hardback, one for your hardback, and then one for audio if you're doing that. You can get that at myidentifiers.com, which is bowker.com. If you buy one, it's $125. For $295, you get 10, and for $595, you get 100.
And is that probably the most authoritative site?
That's really everybody else either upsells them, but that's like they're the site that's been blessed.
Got it. Yeah.
They douse them out.
Because I know when I did some Amazon selling, you could buy UPCs by the thousands and for like $16, but there was a potential problem that I can't remember what the deal was, but people had resold them and they might have in the past belonged to a different product, and then that might get you shut out.
Yeah, you can't buy, if you, like I have, whatever, 100 or a couple hundred or whatever it is, but they're assigned to my imprint, so you can't use them unless you say like I'm the publisher.
Got it. Right. Okay. Something like that.
And so it has to match, but you can add this later, so I wouldn't worry about it. It's going to be more important for the paperback. You want to do it just so you have you can get a free one from Amazon, but it's just, then it has Create Space or Amazon Digital or Print Services.
Their imprint. Got it.
Yeah, their imprint.
So what's the site you would recommend?
It's myidentifiers.com.
Okay.
I think also bowker.com, BOKER.com takes you there. And so I think if you're doing a series of books, you probably start thinking you're going to need more than 10. So you might go with the big one. But you could do that later, because this initial launch you're just doing with Kindle, you can add it later. The only reason you would really want to add it now is if you were trying to hit like USA Today list, so they get a count of the books because they need the ISBN for that. but you don't need it to hit Amazon bestseller or anything. So I would leave it there. So
is there any disadvantage to, let's say we run it under not having it for a year, and then what? It runs under CreateSpace?
well, you're going to, for ebooks, the Kindle book, it is going to assign you an ASIN number, which is the Amazon Sales Identification Number, whatever. In addition, if you could put the ISBN in, it's still going to treat it like it's its own platform. When you hit the paperback, I don't know if you can reverse it that easily without republishing. So you're probably going to want to do it for the paperback. This one, let's not worry about it. But I would say you probably want to do it for the paperback. I bought one the first time, then I bought 10, and then I bought the 500 or whatever it is.
Okay.
I think it was 500 for $595 or something. I'll even pull that up.
So the best thing for us to do, probably go out and get 10 and then come back in and fill it in for every one of them, right? For the Kindle, for the paperback, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, just don't publish the paperback. And in fact, I'll show you that in a second. Because I'll show you what'll happen. This is as far as you can go right now until you upload the manuscript. Like, hit save and continue. I don't think it'll let you go. It's going to give you an error.
Your book cannot be downloaded.
Yeah, go up. There should be something highlighted above. It says, yeah, you must upload the manuscript. So go ahead and hit save as draft, and then at the bottom, and then go back all the way to top and click on bookshelf. So you've got everything you've done now is saved. And really, you only got one more page to go.
Okay.
And the other thing is, you might consider.
I know.
Yeah, look at that. See, that's progress. Now, if you click on create paperback down there below, it's going to take a lot of that same data. You're doing a paperback, obviously, right? So you could do that.
Should I do it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Might as well do it while we're on. It always feels better if somebody else is watching you do it. And
yeah.
what to do. Maybe. And then
English, and then book
yeah, so everything's the same. Let's just see if they change anything with the keywords. The keywords should be there. Description's there. On the copyright, keywords are there. They have different, go down to categories. Okay, still large classifiable. Adult content. No. Okay, so save and continue. And then this next page is where we don't want to click anything, but at the very top, oops, it didn't go.
This says
this one they want a series number. So
fine. It's just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit of different criteria or checks between the paperback and Kindle, obviously.
So what if it wasn't a series? Why do they require a series number?
Because you put a name in the series, and it didn't bother. Yeah, the Kindle one doesn't care apparently, and this one does. So here's where we don't want the KDP ISBN, so you select the other one. You use my own ISBN, and then you put it in, and you got to match the imprint name that you assign to it in Bowker My Identifiers. Right?
Got it. Okay.
And otherwise, it'll trip up here. And if you select get a free KDP ISBN, it'll give you one, and then won't give you the option to switch back. So for here, we want to use our own ISBN, and so we're not going to go any further. I would just save as a draft at that point. And then I'm going to pull up, and there's a few other things here, like you want white, black and white with cream, backlight with white. For kids' book, maybe it's cream. Like business books are generally white. Fiction is usually cream. But the size, and then you're going to have a special size, the square, and you'll upload your cover and so forth. Now, for paperback, you're going to need to create a cover spine, front and back, all as one file. And they probably tell you I always end up going. You can create once you get the number of pages in there, you can go. There's a spot in KDP where you can type in that information and get the specs.
Okay.
So
Now, if we have the idea that this is going to be a kid's book, like, those thicker cardboard type books for kids,
they're
kids
like
can chew
hardback
on
or
it and
what?
drool on it, and
It's a board book.
a board book.
Yeah, I don't think KDP does that, but you're going to be able to do, I would still do a KDP paperback.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's either, if it's specialty like that, it might be like Lulu.
Okay.
I do the hardbacks through Ingram Spark, and I don't do too many because it's so hard to even make a margin on a hardback.
Yeah.
I more do it to have them in front of me here that hold for people. Like this. I mean, this isn't even my final cover, but I created one and I can hold it and talk to people on video and slap it around. It looks cool, but most people are going to buy the paperback.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay.
So why don't you give me your the screen back.
Unshare.
Yep. And I'll just do one more thing here. So I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
And just to show you that last page. So this is Author Inc. And the last page is actually pretty easy to fill out. If it lets me go there. Is it letting me go there? Okay. There we go. Oh, nope, it's making me stop here. Okay, so the other thing I do is I name my files because I change them. And that way I know what exactly the name of the file was that I uploaded, and do I need to update it with the newer one? Doesn't show you the cover file as well. You can see here I added my ISBN and imprint, and then on the last page, am I in the paperback?
I read in the somewhere that if depending on the amount that you change, it's better just to release a new edition. But where you said that you name your files, is the manuscript something that you can always go back and just re-upload and update?
Yep.
Even after publishing?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, the key with that is, like, I've had some where a link went bad, a Dropbox link went bad, which I wouldn't do that anymore. I just use my own rocket links and so forth with my brand on them. But yeah, mostly that's like if you're completely changing the book, create a new book. But if you're adding a chapter or updating things, or there's now a new way to say something, no, I just upload it here. In fact, I will always. I'm constantly tweaking like what's in the front page where I'm getting people to opt into whatever. I'm going to go back and change all my books now to go to Bookflix. So that's another task on the chart, but I'm changing things a year later. Sometimes I'm just reading through something like that's a weirdly written sentence, and I'll just change it. So in fact, like 7 book writing hacks for entrepreneurs is now David Lawrence, H. Lawrence the 17th is doing the audiobook. You know him, Clark?
Yeah,
from Launch Club. So he as he's reading it and then sending it back to me, I'm looking at the book and reading, like, how did I write that sentence like that? So I've changed some things just because of how he's reading, how it sounds being read as an audiobook. So yeah, you can change it. You can change the cover, change the description, anything. So, and yeah, it's unlikely you're ever going to republish it as a different book. And so this last tab here, you're obviously looking at mine, but you can get into KDP Select. That means you can't publish it anywhere else as an ebook. That may work out okay. People don't. It's kids' books with a lot of pictures aren't read as much on Kindle as other books potentially, but I don't use it right now because if you're on KDP Select, you can't publish it anywhere else. Theoretically, you can't have it on your, for sale on your site or even for free on your site, and the ebook version. But you get paid for page reads, so it just depends what you want to do. I generally will publish the EPUB version through Drafted Digital, which is another publisher, but they publish to Apple and Google and Kobo and all these other ones. And then I can make it free on those, and Amazon will price match. And now I've got a lead magnet. So that's like the first book. Eventually, let's say you get 5 books out there, Becky, and then you say, well, I'm going to make the first one free on the ebook version just to get people to read it, and then they're going to want to buy the second one. And that's a lot of ways to get people into that children's book funnel. So, but anyway, for KDP, for the Kindle book, we do all territories. When it's a paperback, we're going to just do we're not doing all territories. It's a different button. I could show you, but here we're doing all territories. And then if it's between $2.99 and $9.99, you can get 70% royalty. When we're launching, we're usually going to do around 99 cents, and that's a 35% royalty. So you just click it here. But you can change the price anytime, and usually it takes a few hours or 24 at most.
Now, why don't they calculate? I mean, wouldn't it be possible for me to say that wrong? Like I say 35%, I mean, 70%.
Yeah, that's weird. I know. It should just automatically give you the top one. I don't know. But when you switch from 99 to $2.99, you might forget to switch that back. That might be the reason. I don't know. And
Okay.
And then you give them an extra 35%.
Yeah.
But you're right. This doesn't make any sense to be there. It should just calculate what you can get. And then Kindle book lending. So this is they can, if someone buys it, they can lend it to their friends and family for 14 days. I generally check it because I want as many people to read my books as possible.
Yeah.
And they took out. Why am I not seeing the match? That's interesting. There's also this. Maybe it's gone. I might not be up on the latest, but they used to have it here. You could also make your Kindle book free if someone bought the paperback. And maybe that's because I don't have a paperback out yet. I think I do though. And then you hit publish. This is where if you hit the button, you've published it. And if you hit the button, or if you hit the button there and it's on pre-order, you're locked into that pre-order.
Okay.
I'm gonna check something real quick. Paperback is live, so why is it not letting me? Let's check.
Now, when you say pre-order, you mean that you've set a date for publication 30 days, 60 days out?
Right.
Okay.
Well, that is odd. I think they took match book pricing out.
So there's no button that says make this available for pre-order. It just will be.
Yeah, this button says publish for pre-order or something now if you selected pre-order.
Okay, great.
So So anyway, that's that. The other thing I'm going to show you real quick is, let's just go back to the keywords. There's a tool called Publisher Rocket. Can you see that since I just dragged it in there? Okay. And you could pick keywords for your ads, but you can also pick, and what this does is goes out to Amazon looks. Now, so for instance, I'm just going to show you how you do this manually. If I go to Amazon and I go to the Kindle store and I'm going to type in, what was the first one? Empathy. So as I type this in, these are the most common searches with the word empathy. So I could sit there and put these all in a spreadsheet, and I still, I might do that. And then one of the other things, and this is for the organic keywords, but even for running ads, we can run ads. Amazon ads are run to keywords. So I can sit there and mark all these down. And then one of the tricks is, okay, now I'm going to say empathy A. Okay, I'm going to get all those words. And I'm going to type empathy B and get all those words. And you can see how quickly this is going to take up some time. And then we would go to friendship and bullying and all that. And the other thing that's this is secondary to do, but you might type it in here, empathy.
Try it in Google, yeah.
And just see what keywords people are searching for. Sorry, that I wanted to get these. All right, so that's kind of the top ones. and you're pretty familiar with that. This thing does it all for you.
Cool.
Uh-oh, it's going to make me restart it. Get a new version. All right, so, but in here, I can do a keyword search, and I can say for I want to know all the stuff that's being searched in Amazon for the word empathy, and it gives me all the different ones, and then I can just export it to a spreadsheet. And then here's the thing. So Dave Chesson, who's this is his product. He's done some testing on this, and I guess you call it long tailing or keywords. Yeah. So remember how you typed in empathy in the box there? Well, let's say the number one, if we analyze these, and there's different ways to read this, but like for instance, this one, 85 is not horrible, and it's got a ton of searches, making a lot of money. So empathy by itself is good. But let's say empathy problem. If we can get this down, like this is great earnings, great competitors, but the competition score is very low. So I would use empathy problem because that gives you empathy. It also gives you empathy problem. And then I go down here and say, and what could I tag on the front end of that? Right. I think it was sympathy or something. So wasn't there one? Sympathy and empathy, let's say. So I could say sympathy and empathy, and what was this one up here? Problem. And put that all in one string in the keyword there, and you get, I forget what it is, 80 characters or something. That's what I would pack into one of those 7 keywords.
Great. Yeah. Perfect.
And, so that's a way to do it too.
And then so we're packing in those keywords, but we still only get 5, or I forget how many was
7 there are. Yeah.
7 different phrases total.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll look through and say, I'll analyze them, but you could see too, just by keying it in here, which ones are the best. And you could just start making notes and say, okay, how can I work these together so that, sympathy is in front of empathy and problem are here. If you use Publisher Rocket, this competitive store tells you that you can rank high. This is tougher. So the higher the score, the tougher it is, but this would be a good one to use. And it just kind of does all the data crunching for you. But I would max those all out. So use the keywords you got as the kind of core keyword, and then what else can I add to it? And that's where you can do the Google thing or this and get those keywords in. And then, cool. Categories. Let's talk about that real quick, because I know I'm dragging on here. Let's go to let's just see what comes up here. Bento's book. Let's just use his as an example. This is a friend of mine, actually. This thing's been ranked high forever. So, although he likes the Golden State Warriors, look at that. Huh? I got a quote on his book.
Oh, nice.
So, here's how you do it. His book is ranked 4,982. That's really good. In the entire Kindle store, there's like 4 million books, right? And here's the counseling children. So this is basically, you want to be in, whenever you click on one of those, it gives you the kind of the tree, and you want to be at the bottom level of the tree and see how they rank. So basically, when I come in, I want to see what's the number one book. We know that's 4,000 something. And then what's he's in the right, I don't even know. That's this category? I guess it is. But this is actually a decent category probably for you. I mean, there's, because there's some children's books in here too. But you can see it's tight. And I've got a tool for this, but basically what I do is I come in and say, what's the number one book? And I click on it and look at the rank. Now, we already just looked at this, but I look at this bestseller rank, it's 4,000. So, okay, that's, what is that? It might be 100 books a day need to sell. So it's going to be tough, but that's okay. And then I might look at either number 100 or maybe number 25 and see how do I get, to number 25 on this bestseller list. And that rank is 700,000. So that's pretty easy to hit. So you could be number 25 on here pretty easy. So this might be a category you choose. And we would take that hierarchy. So it's basically Kindle store, Kindle ebooks, health, fitness, and dieting, counseling and psychology, children. That's the path. And you would ask them to update your book in there. And I've got a little tool that does it for me. Let's see, where is it?
So that's another thing I've heard about doing, but it's been years since I last heard about this. Jumping categories once you're in the race, I guess, so to speak, once you're selling books every day and multiples per day, going back to Amazon and saying, hey, we don't want to be in this bottom level category now. We want to jump up to the next level.
Yeah, in fact, I've done it where I went and found categories of my heroes when my rank was better than them. I even did that for Jeff Walker. He didn't
like it.
I don't know if he didn't like it, but I remember telling him the very first time I met him, like, why did I do that?
Right.
Taking a picture with him. I'm like, hey, I got a photo of my book ahead of yours. He's like, But hey, if you're the stuff if you're doing a year ago doesn't seem stupid to you, then you're not making enough progress. So that's the way I look at it. But so you definitely want to do that. And like this one, to be honest, this is kind of an odd category because this book is ranked so high, but the bottom of the list is such a high number that it kind of means this category doesn't get a lot of purchases or searched a lot. We would probably want number 100 to be about 100,000 tops if possible, with the top book being maybe 10,000. So this one's got a really high top book and a really easy 100th book. So it's going to be tough to be number 1 in it, but it's still a bestseller list. You can get on it, but it's going to be tough to be number 1 in it, but easy to get on the list. So, right, you can start there. The great thing is you can submit 10, and we can get to that on another time, but you can submit 10 by going through KDP to do it. And I'll just actually show you where it is. If you're in KDP anywhere, it's going to ask me if I want to go. I just contact them, and Amazon product page and expanded distribution, update categories. And I just always send an email, and basically you just put the category in here. So remember that we were saying it's, it's a little, they used to type this out for you in there, but now it's a little bit pain, but it'll be something like, okay, this, and then it's ebooks, right? All the way down.
So you're just telling them now the new category that you want to be in.
And because you didn't none in there, you don't have to take one off. If you had 10 in there and you wanted to add one, you'd have to remove one to put it on there, or they'll just reject the whole request.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then you just put your AISN number here. Just overlay that. And then I just, then just hit send.
Awesome.
So let's see. I think that's about it. Is that it for now? I think so. Man, I'm tired.
That was so helpful.
The key thing is it's like so I remember hitting the buttons our first time, like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And once I just talked to one person about it, felt so much better. And you can't really go wrong. The only thing you can do wrong is hit pre-order, for next week, and your book's not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes out and people download it and it's garbage, which you guys wouldn't do, but I've definitely put books on pre-order before they've been done and then been like, oh my God, I got 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
No, I haven't done that long, but just, cleaning up and editing and adding images. I'm like, oh, I didn't give myself as much time as I'd like. And, but my second book, I did that where I basically came up with the idea of this author startup, wherever that one is. No, that's not it. I was just going to make it as a lead magnet. So I just said, I'm testing out this pre-order. So I put it on pre-order, and then I started writing it, and I had it, but I put the pre-order for 26 days out. So I had to get it done.
Mm.
I just worked every day the first 2 weeks and got it written and edited, and then and it was short, but people liked it a lot better than my first book. So
That's scary, but that's one way to set a deadline.
Yeah.
you get the first one out there, and then and it was funny. I was talking to Ray Edwards. I told you I went to update his thing, and
Yeah.
he's like, everybody hates their first book. He's like, I can't even open my book, copy that sells. I just can't stand it.
Really?
But
Wow.
Michael Hyatt's handing it out left and right, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's how we all feel then, because
Copy That Sells is a pretty good book.
and he's like, oh, I can't stand it. So,
Funny.
So you said that to make sure that you release on a Tuesday. Why is that?
So mainly, you don't really have to, but it's if you're targeting one of the bigger lists like USA Today or New York Times or something, they count from Sunday to Sunday or Sunday through Saturday, whatever it is. But because of the time zones, or is it Monday through Sunday? One of the two. Because the time zones hit funny, different times. Books might get hit, be released early, so you don't want it to go backwards and be the last day of the 1 week. So you want it to have a little cushion. So they always, when if they're really trying to hit a big bestseller list, they do it on Tuesday. And so for me, it's like, well, I'm just always going to do that because that seems like a better day. Now, your audience might shop more on Sundays, but if you're on pre-order, they can buy it a couple days ahead of time anyway. So
Yeah.
Now, and then pre-order, everybody else. So New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, all the books on pre-order get counted the week that the book comes out on Tuesday. And so that's why you don't want to have it on Monday night and somehow they get counted for Sunday or whatever. Now you need that day of buffer so that all the books get counted for this week, and then you can sell more while it's live. Amazon counts for bestseller by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so that could be good or bad, but it's easier to hit the Amazon lists. So basically what I like to do with my clients is like, let's pick a date, a month before your pre-order releases. Let's focus sales there. And then if we hit bestseller, it's just that all this, like 99% of the stress is gone before the release, and you just spend the last 2 weeks talking about your book, and it's already a bestseller, and you don't have to worry about anything. Marketing is already in place.
So do you think you're also competing? Like, let's say we're not going for New York Times. Are we then now competing unnecessarily with everybody who is shooting for Tuesday that way?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess theoretically you could be, but because it's hourly, you're just competing with you could pick an hour and on a weekend. So you're actually picking the day you want to try to hit the bestseller list for Amazon, even if you release on a Tuesday.
Gotcha. Okay.
Tuesday,
cool.
You could, if you're not worried about it, you could do Sunday and then have some promotions running. There's a couple of promotions I'll tell you about that would run during the week. But
okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much. This has
Thank
been
you
amazing.
so much. This is so helpful.
I'm glad. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later. See you later.
Thank you.
Take care.